Now you should be able to answer this example without watching this video. So if you have just come straight to the video, stop it now, have a go at the question. It follows on from the previous example. So firstly, OABC is a tetrahedron. M is the midpoint of AC. N is the midpoint of OC. So when we look at our diagram, that means that that length there equals that length there, and this length equals that length. Now let vector A be OA. So there's your A. B is OB. And C is OC. Find in terms of A, B, and C, AC. So AC is this vector here. So to get there, I can go AO plus OC. So this equals AO, vector AO plus vector OC, which is negative OA plus OC, which is negative A plus C. Now, vector OM, I'm going to get rid of the lines that I used for the previous one. So OM, let's identify the vector we're looking for. And let's work out how we can find that. So if I go OA plus AM, that OM is my resultant. So this is going to be OA plus AM. Now OA is A plus, and AM is a half of AC because M was the midpoint of AC. So that becomes A plus a half of, we found AC in part A. So vector A plus negative vector A plus C. So now I have A plus a half times negative A is A minus a half A. So that's a half A plus a half times C is a half C. And I could factorize that out as being a half A plus C. Cn is that there? So that, because N is the midpoint of OC, I can write Cn as a half of CO. Remember, the direction matters. So that's going to be a half times negative C, which is negative a half vector C. Okay, Mn is there. Now, there are different ways of doing this. You could go MC, Cn. I already worked out what OM is in part B, so I'm going to go MO and then ON. But again, remember there are different ways. So you might have done it differently. So MO plus ON. So that's negative a half A plus C. And that is from part B plus a half vector C, because N's the midpoint of OC. So that's negative a half A minus a half C plus a half C. So that's negative a half A. So MP, I'm going to use a different colour to show what I'm doing here. If I go M all the way up to O, so MO, and then I add OP, which is essentially subtracting because it's in the opposite direction to MO, then I will end up with MP. So this is equal to MO plus OP. Now MO, we worked out OM in part B, so it's the opposite, so it's negative a half A plus C plus a half. OP is, well, P is the midpoint of OB, so a half of OB. So negative a half A minus a half C plus a half of B. Bring the negative a half out and we have A minus B plus C.